Should software engineers actually be referred to as engineers? Hi, my name is JT, and I'll be walking you through how different software products you use on a daily basis actually work. The question is, should we refer to people who build software as engineers? And I think the reason why a number of people ask that question is because our ideal colloquial definition of engineers are people who hold physical tools and do physical things in the real world. So you have examples like civil engineers or aviation engineers, and that is basically what they do. But let's go to what the definition of what it means to be an engineer is. An engineer is someone who applies the laws of science and the theories, the different mechanics of science, and applies them into building things that can be used by people in the real world. So see an engineer as that bridge between science and the real world. What that means is, because an engineer is building things that is used by people, there are certain principles that come with engineering by default. For example, there are principles like accuracy. It's why a civil engineer cannot afford to make a small mistake in the diameters of a beam or a rod while building a bridge. Principles like reliability that come into how engineering works, basically. And so software engineering is simply the application of those principles of engineering into how software is built. And that is what differentiates a regular software engineer from a software designer or a software developer. Software engineer applies those theories, those techniques into how to build products. And this is useful because lives depend on a lot of software that we use in our world today. For example, if you are building a payments application, people need to pay for healthcare, people need to pay for food, people need to pay for their livelihood. And so you start realizing that a lot of softwares that we use, one way or the other, have lives depending on it. And because lives depend on software, it is thus important that those who build software have to apply these principles of engineering into how we build software. And it's also why a lot of words that we use in software engineering are actually words that are used across different engineering fields. So words like reliability, words like accuracy, words like consistency, words like authentication are words that are used in general engineering fields because that is how software engineers think and that is how they approach problems. The question remains,